everyone, Karen here. I've got a quick tip for painting falling snow in a pastel painting. If you watched my video the other day, I did snow by just making small little dots with pastel. That's one way to do it, but it's not as natural or believable. I have a couple of other ways that are a lot better that actually make snow feel more natural or look more natural. There's a dry method and there's a wet method, and I'm going to show you both of those. First, I'm going to show you how you make the snow, and then I'm going to apply it to a painting that I already have. So the first thing that you need to make snow are some light color pastels. You can use white, but I like to use light value. And I use my crummy pastels because I'm going to shave them. So it's not, you don't want to use your most expensive pastel for this. So I'm going to take one of them. Let's do the dry method first. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to shave the pastel and create some dust. You can use a piece of metal screen. That works. So if you shave into the metal screen, then the pastel becomes dust. I'm putting it in a little bowl. I'll show you over the... Can you zoom in so that you can see what's happening here? There. So using the metal screen, I'm getting a nice dusting of snow. That's a nice, soft, even coating. If I want bigger chunks or bigger flakes of snow, I'm going to use a palette knife and I'm going to carve the snow, and I can break off bigger chunks this way. So you can see I can have a little bit more variety in my snowflakes. Now, one thing when you're using the dry method that you want to be careful of is you want to make sure that you keep your snow moving so that you don't have one big blob of snow in one place and no snow somewhere else. So you want to be even with your application. The second part of this is how do you get the snow to stick because it's dry. I'm going to take a piece of glassine paper. You can use tracing paper if you'd like. Put it over your painting, and I'm going to use a rolling pin and roll it on there. And I'm basically just pressing those pastel pieces into the paper like that. And then when you pick up the paper, most of it will stick. You can just press with your hand as well if you'd like to do that. All right, so that's the dry method. How about the wet method? So the wet method, you're also going to make some pastel shavings or dust. So I'm shaving some white pastel into a container. Then I'm going to wet it with a little bit of water. If you use a spray bottle, then you can control how much water you have. Then you're going to mix it up. I need a little bit more. So that this becomes a paste or a liquid, which really you're putting pastel back into its liquid state. Then you're going to take your brush, and by the way, I'm using a stiff bristle brush, like a stencil brush or any kind of stiff brush or toothbrush. And you're going to take your finger, let me turn it over so you can see it, and you're going to flick. I love this. This is so much fun. Just flick it on there. And by the way, this works great for painting foam or stars. Think about the possibilities for this technique, okay? So there you have the wet pastel technique. And these will dry. You don't have to press it in. They'll dry and they'll be stuck. So how do we apply this to an actual painting? I'm going to take a painting that I have already started. Let's just take this little one. And I've just painted some evergreen trees. And I want to make it look like it's snowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light color pastel, and I'm going to use the palette knife method so I can get a variety of flakes. And I'm going to simply just shave some of that pastel over the trees. Again, remember, I want to have an even coating. Now, I can press it in. I'm going to just use my hands and rub it in like this. And there you have it. It's snowing. If you want the snow to look like it's blowing, I'm going to show you on the black paper because it'll show up a little bit better. Just take your finger and flick. I'll try over here. Just flick some of them like this. Just flick a few and it'll give a feeling of the wind blowing the snow. So use your finger to soften some of those. So there you have it. That's how you make snow fall in a pastel painting.